Have you ever been so anxious that you can't even pray? Your mind is racing and your body just won't settle down? If so, this video is for you. My name is Kiran Young Wimberly. I am a spiritual director and a minister, and I'm also trained in resilience skills. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 ways that we can calm ourselves in order to do something that we all need to be able to do, which is to pray and engage with our spiritual life, especially if that's something that is important to you. So I work with a lot of people who are in the helping professions, whether they be clergy, therapists, social workers, teachers, medical people, and sometimes we get anxious ourselves, even though we're supporting other people. So what I want to make sure you can settle your mind and your heart and your spirit and your soul so that you can support the people around you. So let's begin by acknowledging where we are. First of all, I just want to say, I hear you. I see you. If you're feeling anxious, you have every reason to be. And it's not something to push away or to try to hide. It's something to acknowledge in the right spaces, in a safe space, but just to be true and honest and just to notice it within yourself. So that is the first thing I want to say in this list of 5 ways to find calm, is simply to acknowledge how you are feeling. So the second thing is to pay attention to how your body is feeling. Now, anxiety often appears in the body, and that is perfectly normal. So to normalize that, I want to say, be gracious with your body, be kind to your body, because it is only trying to keep you safe, and it is how our bodies respond to stressful situations. So we can get into fight, flight, freeze, fawn mode. And without telling ourselves to do it, we can get into that response mode where we just feel agitated, or we are withdrawn, or whatever our natural response might be to a stressful situation. It's human behavior. It's how our bodies are created. It's a beautiful and wonderful thing about who we are, because it helps us to survive and to stay safe in situations of real threat. But oftentimes those stress responses come into play when there isn't a physical threat around us, but when we're worried about things that might happen or things that have happened that we're analyzing. So those kinds of stress responses can come into play at times that aren't necessarily helpful. So second point is to pay attention to your body and what it needs. And if you are having that kind of a stress response, where is your body holding that tension? Is it in your shoulders? If so, relax your shoulders and do a little bit of a wiggle of your shoulders. Is it in your stomach? If so, just stretch yourself out and be aware of releasing some of that tension within yourself. If it's something that is like a kind of nervous energy within you, and sitting down and sitting still just is not working for you, that's okay. You can tend to your body by doing what your body needs. If it's to go for a walk, or if it's to go and get some exercise, if it's to take a bath, allow that to be a part of your prayer. That act in itself could be a form of prayer. Because we don't need to be sitting still in order to pray meaningfully. So pay attention to your body and give your body what it needs in order to get into that prayerful space and really engage with your spiritual life again. So the third tip is grounding. Now, this is a practice of being aware of the surfaces that are near your body, whether you're sitting on a chair or resting your feet on the floor or standing. So a lot of the time we let our minds spin out of control, and we can be flying back to the past and thinking about something that happened a long time ago, or we can be spinning ahead into the future, and we are actually not present to where we are in this moment. And we aren't present to the fact that right here and right now, I am okay. I am safe. I am in a good place. I can rest and I can relax right now. So grounding is a way that we can become more fully present to where we are in the here and now. So take a moment to try that grounding practice. You can do it for just 30 seconds to become more present to where you are. The fourth tip is to engage with your senses. This is a practice that comes from these resilience skills, and it's about engaging with our senses and being aware of the world around us and some of the sounds and the colors and the sights around us, because it helps to re-engage our cortex. Because when we feel that we're under threat, our brains will go into survival mode and our cortex will go offline. It will not be able to make decisions for us. But when we engage our senses, we're actually calling the cortex back into action. So when we engage with our senses, we are looking at the colors around us. We are listening for the sound of birds. We are listening to the breeze blowing. We are looking at whatever is around us in the room. We're noticing what's beautiful. We're noticing what's there. And that simple act of noticing with our senses, engaging with our senses, can be a truly soothing activity to do. If you need something a bit more active, you could do something like doodling and scribble circles and then coloring in the bits in the middle that cross over each other. There's a wonderful art therapy exercise around that. There are a few things that that you can do to really engage your senses, like go for a walk and really pay attention to your surroundings, or sit and listen to a piece of music. So those are some ideas to engage your senses. That is tip number 4. And now for number 5, I'm going to remind you, perhaps you know of breath prayer as an ancient spiritual practice. If you're not familiar with it, I'll explain briefly how to do it. And it's essentially to use our breath, the in-breath and the out-breath, as a guide for our prayer. Don't need complex prayers right now. We can keep it really simple. And the breath prayer really helps to focus that and to center our prayer on just a few phrases that we can repeat again and again on our in-breath and on our out-breath. So the in-breath is going to be what we choose is the name for God that we want to say in our prayer today. Now, there may be lots of different types of ways that you refer to God, but what's your favorite? And what is the one that really speaks to you today in your situation, especially if you're thinking about what you're anxious about today? So the breath prayer begins with the name for God. For example, you might say Prince of Peace. You might say Rock of Refuge. You might say God of Healing. Those are 3 that came to mind just now, but you can choose whichever ones speak to you today. And then the second part of the prayer is naming our need or our desire. And this is where we go back to the beginning, where we acknowledge how we felt, how we feel right now. We said, I am anxious, or whatever it was that you said to yourself and to God, just acknowledging where you are today. So we come back to that and we place that need and that request before God. Calm my mind, be my strength, make me whole. So those are 3 requests that you might place before God. You would just choose one to keep it really simple today. And the wonderful thing about a breath prayer is it's very short and it is very specific to where you are today. You can have a different breath prayer tomorrow. You could forget it within a couple hours, but if it helps you in this moment, it helps to focus, distills your prayer into those 2 simple phrases. And it could be that this prayer will really carry you through the day, because as we know, our breath follows us through the day. So our breath is always with us. When we breathe in, we remember that name for God. When we breathe out, we remember that prayer, that request, and that desire that we have, that we're seeking for help from God for. If you try these and they just don't work, it could be that you really need to speak to somebody, a professional, about your anxiety. But sometimes we just feel anxious about the way the world is going and we don't know how to sit and engage with our spiritual life. And so I hope that some of these things can be helpful to you, and I hope you can take something away from this video. If you enjoyed it and got something out of it, please do like and subscribe. Maybe share it with somebody who would get something out of it. And you can see in the description below some resources that might help you along your spiritual journey. And blessings till next time. Bye.